Hello, my name is Indra Prayuda, and this is the semester project 2B, presenting the poem analysis. And this is the given three poem analysis that will be presented by me. So we can start from the introductions of what the poems tells about. Um, the poem serves as a prime illustration of how nature and people interact. In the poem, the boy stands in for all the humanity, and the tree, which is correctly defined as giving, it is basically a metaphor for nature. So we do have the poetic devices, which is figurative language that we find here, and the youngster, which is the boy, adored the tree and coexisted nicely with her in his early years, playing with her and taking use of her gift. There was only pure, unwavering love. There was no expectations or even intents. Here we can see the use of the pronoun her in terms of the nature gives a sense of the terms of mother, because um, Mother Earth is known for the life giving to all the creatures that lives in the earth. And the boy then started to mature, much like how people did. He then started plucking items off the tree, hurting her. He took her fruits, branches, and trunk. And just as modern humans continue to deprive nature of its resources, the boy developed traits of greed and selfishness as he grows older. And he just asks her anything he wants without pausing to consider what he is doing to the tree. So here we can see that the boy is pictured as the human in this modern world, in this kind of changing era where people just do whatever they want to make money or to gain a lot of benefits without thinking about the consequences that is occurred to the mother nature. And when the boy eventually ages, when he grows older, he gets frail, he reverts to his former state in which the very existence of the tree satisfied him. The poetry is a reflection of what people are doing right now. As I said before, everything that is going in the world now is captured in this poem, including materialism and the colors means of getting it, and the harm done to nature and human selfishness in taking things without offering anything in return. So this poem tells the story of how nature always gives humanity what they need. It was um, it always been this sense of giving without taking anything granted. So it also tells the story of how people mistreat this this aspect of nature. It is a story of a whole cycle in which the human is initially free, but later clings to affairs and material possessions until finally regaining his freedom. So it serves as a reminder that in the end, what matters most isn't concrete, but rather intangible in the sense of community with an affections of the sense of love and careness. So the poem is actually also a cautionary tale because the trees is unwavering attitude toward the human throughout his life as the boy. She permits him to embark on a road of consumerism, greed, and happiness. She even let herself. She gave everything she has to the boy, or we basically can picture it of the earth giving everything it has to the human. So the outcome might have been different if the tree had recognized him as a man as opposed to a child. And this poem can be considered a cautionary tale for kids because it is a children's book that is typically read aloud to kids by their parents. So if we look in the perspective of the adult perspective, this is have a larger meaning. It has a larger point of view that it doesn't only depicts the character of the child, but actually the child is represents the human being. So rather than that, the um, analyzing the poem, we can see it by project devices that is offered in this poem. There are allegory, enjambment, personifications, reverses, allusions, narrative, theme, and central idea, and also the tone of the poem. And we're gonna discuss it one by one. The first is allegory. The lessons of the giving tree is admirable and wise because it demonstrates both of the love and sacrifice of nature and the avarice of selfishness of humanity. Above all, after finishing it, one is filled with thoughts of inspirations, insight, and contemplation. And the second is enchantment. The verses flow into one another. Line 3 to 6, for instance, form a whole sentences, and throughout the form, a sentence is made up of 3 or 4 lines. So even though the lines are separated with very many of lines, but it actually form a sort of sentences that gives us the idea. And then the third is personification. So the tree in this poem is given a personality or sentiments, or we can say that the tree acts like a human being or a human. And when the boy plays with her, the tree is happy, and he departs. She is unhappy. And when the boy's gone, she felt lonely. She felt abandoned. The tree longs for his return and is eager to assist the boy in any way he desires, even sacrificing herself. The tree can be seen as the personifications of a mother, a father, or any other person who demonstrate unconditional and sacrificing love to one another. So there is allusion. There are brief allusions of the boy's family, even though it is not directly explained, but we can actually analyzing that the the boy's family, including his marriages, his wife and children, and even the house and the boat, and also mentioned, it was mentioned indirectly by the poem. Moreover, the project devices that I found or that are offered in this analysis is the three verses. Both regular meter and any instance of rhyme are completely absent from the poem. It has three verses and uses simple language that everybody can understand. So the poem doesn't actually rhyme like we used to know or we used to read. It's just three verses, and it's very simple in terms of the simplicity of the language and the words. And because of this is a poem for children, so it must use simple words or simple vocabulary for children so that everyone can understand. And then the theme, some people, some individuals, or I can say that the novel or the story that surround in this poem um, depicts the bond between a parent of their child. The boy would stand in for the child while the tree would represent the father. So there is a connections or relationship between family of a mother or even a father to a children. So the relationship between humans and earth is another well-known concept that this book illustrates. So the theme of humans and the earth is seen from the perspective of adults. So the children might not know it because it's quite complex if we try to understand the idea of it. And the boy would stand in for people, while the tree would stand for the planet Earth. So if we look deeper in this poem, we can actually know what these stories or what the poem tells about. And in the tone, the poem starts off with a joyful and upbeat tone. So it's happy. Both the boy and the tree adore one another. Both are content. Then it shifts to a tone of hunger, of despair, and greed. The boy is not considered of the tree's sentiments and purposes, his desires alone, which makes the tree sad that he is away, that he departs to another place. So the boy is ultimately dejected or feels sad and desperate, um, with the idea of um, moving away. And then the central idea of this poem, which is very vivid, that I can see that any interpretations of the poems either way are understood. We can say that it has positive and negative sides. What I can see that from this poem, that it offers a nature's gift. It gives the sense of the humble personality of the planet Earth, or the nature that gives everything to us, to of everything that we need. It could be interpreted as a complaint of about human taking. We take too much from what we can have, or what we can take from the earth, so that because of the earth is the act of giving, we don't actually care about what things that we have taken. So it might be interpreted as a warning to the parents, or even to the people that lives on planet Earth. The boy, the poem's central message is a reminder that the little things in life are what brings us most joy. It doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be something destructible. With the simple thing, we can bring joy. We can bring happiness. The boy did not find the same joy in earning money or constructing at home that he had while he was playing with a tree, or simply sitting on a tree, which was now merely a stump. And we find the most happiness in the little acts of unconditional love. So that what the tree gives to the boy, and that what the nature gives to us as a human being. So the conclusion of this analysis is, Shelf Silverstein makes an insightful contrast, or the vivid contrast, or the vivid side of between two personalities of how humans and nature interact, of how humans and nature relationship in this poem. So we can analyze that the poem from the variety of perspectives. It was profound, depressing, and motivating. The poet is attempting to convey this message through this poem, that we should spread the kindness and care, that we have to respect what people give to us, and we have to think wiser, that we don't we don't take we don't take things only by two sides. If we gave, we also have to receive something. And the message that we can find from this poem would be, do not go run of chasing materials, but look for someone who can love you unconditionally and stays with them for at the end of the day, and all that matters. I think that's all for me from this project, to be presenting the poem analysis. Thank you so much.